Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to show you something which I've been practicing, working on for maybe 2 months now. So I have changed my techniques a lot in past couple of weeks. My last few videos I've done it with a lot of different techniques, and all the new, well, kind of, you can say it's going to be my new updated routine of how do I do my highlight and contour. So this video I'm going to go very much in detail the steps I am doing right now to basically make my face look slightly longer and more thinner. So the other thing I want to mention is everybody's face shape is different, so you really want to figure out what you want to your face to look like. So if your face is too small, you want to make it look, I don't know, wide, or if you want to make it look long. If your face is super round, you might want to make it look more sharp, so it looks more defined, more jawline and everything else. So it's very important to figure out what kind of look you want to see on your face. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, so every time I'll post a video you will get a notification. And let's do is I'm going to take my Tatcha, the silk canvas. It's so good. I've been using this for nearly a month now, and I'm totally obsessed, literally obsessed over this particular primer, because it really blurs out your skin, really fills your pores so well, and you hardly see your pores after this. I've seen a lot of people using this even all over their face. I don't use it all over, or well, I haven't tried using it all over, but sometimes I do feel like the way I apply it on the areas, it does kind of go all over the face. So my Miakage, it's Woke Up Like This Flawless Base Foundation, the best foundation ever I bought from Facebook. Couple of thumbs on the back of my hand. This is the other thing I started doing recently. Before, I used to either apply the foundation on a beauty blender and go on my skin, or I used to use my dish to put the foundation and then tap my beauty blender and go with the beauty blender. But now this is the tip I learned from watching Style by Harush, who is Kylie Jenner's makeup artist. By watching her videos, she actually gave this tip. You always pump your foundation on the back of your hand. So if your foundation is supposed to oxidize, or it's going to oxidize, it's going to do it on the back of your hand before you go on your face. So by doing this, you can check if the color is still matching with your skin or not, because whatever oxidization gonna happen, it's gonna happen on your hand first. So you can check if the color is still okay or not. This tip is so good, and I did notice the difference by doing this, because some of my foundation, when I apply it, it looked fine, but after a while they oxidize and they look much darker on my skin. So this tip really helps. That's why I'm going with the Miakage one, because it actually doesn't oxidize, but by doing this I still save the time by I just figured it out before, instead of finding it out later, oh my god, this is disaster kind of thing. So I'm just gonna go with the foundation, and I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Sculpt and Shade brush. This is the dual-ended brush. I'm gonna go with this first layer, super light. I don't want to go too heavy hand with my first layer. The reason I don't want to go too heavy hand, because the way I blend my contour and highlight and concealer and everything else in my new routine, kind of use the foundation to blend everything. So no, that's the reason I'm going quite light hand with the first layer. Okay, as I'm going towards my neck, I like to go with the more of a dragging motion than like bouncing motion kind of thing. So it's more you want to match your skin, your neck with your face, so it looks like you're not wearing makeup and who you are. RCMA Foundation Concealer Palette, and this one is VK or volume 10 in color. I think this is called medium palette. Yeah, this one is medium. As you can see, the top rows are more like lighter shades, and then you go as you go towards the bottom, it's the more darker shades. I love using this as my concealer and my contour, because it just, until you try it, these products, you won't believe how good they are. But this particular palette, as you can tell by the state of it, is very loved. I use this so much. I prefer to do my brightening and concealing and my contour with this over any other concealers I have. Because of the condition of my under eye area, I like to make sure I don't have too many layers, because when you have more layers, the more layers you will put under your eye, the more heavy your makeup will get, and the more chances of it get creased and looking cake face. So that's why I stop putting foundation right just on my under eye area, and I go straight with the concealer. First bit of concealing, I've just applied the product. I'm just going to let the product sit on my skin for a few minutes before I start the blending. This is one of the other things I learned from watching Style by Harush video. I will link the video down in the description box below if you want to go and watch her techniques as well. I haven't picked up all of her techniques, but I find most of her techniques actually really helpful and worked really well for me. So it is definitely a worth watching video. So I'm just gonna let the product sit on my skin for a few minutes until it starts to feel a little like a tacky. You're not supposed to let the product dry completely, because then it won't blend, but you want to make sure it feels slightly tacky before you start blending. And today I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend the concealer, and I'm using this white one. This one is actually essentially made by Beauty Blender for applying primer, serums, face creams and stuff like that. But I do not like using anything apart from my hand and my fingers for using my skincare, because I like using the heat of my hand and the warmth of my hand to make sure the product goes right into my skin. But this one works really well for blending the concealer. So it's been a few minutes, so I'm just gonna go and start blending my concealer. Now it's very important when you start blending your concealer, don't drag it down or don't mess around with the shape or don't mess around too much with the application, because the whole point of for you to applying your concealer this way is so you want this area to be more concealed. If you start dragging the product down, then you are just messing up all the work you are doing. So do the blending in a patting motion, but just make sure you don't like drag the product down or go too low and everything. The whole idea is for you to keep the shape the way it is. You will see what I mean once I start blending. So let's just go ahead and start blending. I'm gonna start from my nose first, and as you can see, I'm barely moving the product. I'm just basically making sure. I'm just gonna apply a little bit more on my corner of my eye, because it didn't used to be like this, but I've started to feel more blueness around the inner corner of my eye. So I'm just gonna cancel that out at the same time. It's really helpful if you do have this issue. If you fix this while you're doing this step, because it makes your eyeshadow application super smooth and easy. And as you can, I want to keep the shape exactly the way it is right now, like exactly the way I applied my product. I want it to be exactly like that and stay on the areas where I just put it. Okay. Another tip is, if you start to feel like the product is gone a little too dry and it's not blending, you can just add a little bit more product on top, and it will help the product to blend more smoothly. But that's why I like using the RCMA powders, because or the RCMA foundation, because it doesn't dry out very quickly. So just gonna do the chin. And go with my forehead. I like to do the nose right at the end. I like to give as much time as possible to my nose, so it, and I like to just squeeze the beauty blender completely, like into like a really pinch it, so I won't go or mess up with the shape. So this is the first part. So this is the brightening. Okay. So this is the concealing, and I'm very happy the way it came out. The next thing I'm going to do is, this is the other thing I've started doing. I started adding a concealer or a foundation which has a little bit more of a pink tone. By doing this, it just makes the area, certain part of my face, super brightened, because I am a more monotone person. By applying the pink foundation or concealer, it really helps for it to be like looking more brightened on my skin. So today I'm using my Dermacol foundation. This is super heavy, full coverage makeup cover. This is actually like a made for theaters, for films and everything. This is a very thick and very high coverage foundation, but it's so good. It's literally makes your face look super flawless, like you have no issues with your skin whatsoever. And the shade, this particular shade, I believe is light and go on the areas where I want to be a little bit more brightened. And I also like to do this on my nose and on my chin. And I'm also going to apply this on the corners of my face. And I'm just gonna take the same beauty blender and just gonna go over everything I just applied to make sure everything has a nice smooth coverage. So there's no my natural guideline. So what I like to do is go from the corner of my ear, and I'd like to go towards my mouth. But as I'm going more towards my mouth, I make sure I don't have much product left on my brush. So it's more of like a natural kind of thing. So you can see it's already making everything look sharp. And I tend to not go too low on the product with my contour shade, because when you're doing blending you don't want to go too low. That will make your jaw look smaller, and if you're going for a longer face, this is not going to be the look you want. So again, okay, quite happy with that. For my forehead, I actually don't need that much contour on my forehead. I only do it just a very tiny amount, just to give more of like a warmth to my forehead than anything else. For my jawline, I really like to define my jawline at the moment. So what I like to do is go from the corner of my ear and go underneath the bone. Never ever apply the product right on the bone or on above the bone. Should be underneath the bone. Okay. The same thing I'm gonna do on this side. Go from the side of my ear and go right below the bone. Okay. And kind of like just drag the product down a bit. Okay. And at this point, if you want to highlight make your neck look more small, of a foundation on the back of my hand. You don't need a lot. 1 pump should be more than enough. And then I'm gonna damp my brush. I'm gonna use the same brush where I used to apply my foundation. I'm gonna take a bit of the foundation on my brush. I'm gonna start blending the contour. By doing this technique, it will give you a really nice gradient, so it won't look like you are wearing too many layers. It will actually look like a nice smooth application. It really gives you a lot of control to make sure when you're blending your contour you don't go too low towards your jaw. As you can see, it's super duper quick doing it this way, and it's so precise and easy. I'm gonna do the same technique on my forehead. Before you start blending the product, you want to go with the patting motions, so make sure the product is nicely on your skin, and then you just go with the brush and a foundation and start blending everything out. My neck also, so I'm going to show you how you can make your neck look smaller if you have quite big neck, quite like thick neck. By applying a lot of bit more darker shade in contour right underneath your chin, really gives that shadow, so your chin looks much more defined. If you have a double chin and you want to cancel it out, this is how you do it. So I'm also going to take this. And you're doing all the blending towards inward instead of outwards, because you want to make your nose look slim instead of big, unless that's the effect you're going for. If you're trying to make your nose look wide, then you want to blend outwards. If you're trying to make your nose look small, slim, long, you want to blend inwards. Right. Very happy with it. Beauty blender. This one is pretty damp. It's still pretty damp. I'm just gonna squeeze the water out. I like to keep one of the beauty blenders, separate beauty blenders, for my setting powder, and I like to keep that as wet as possible until I am actually ready to use. So I'm going to use this one, and I've just squeezed all the extra water out. This is pretty good now. So now I'm just gonna go with my mix, my secret mix, I will say. And I'm gonna take the powder on my beauty blender, and I'm just gonna go start by exactly the same way I applied my concealer. I'm gonna start the baking. Okay. Same thing I'm gonna do with my chin. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do with my forehead. And not a lot, but I'm just going to clean out this area. I'm using this Morphe M528. I'm going to take the same powder a little bit more. I'm just going to go over on all rest of my face so it's all nice and set. When you want to start the baking, you want to go very light hand, so it's literally just like feathering out on your face instead of like really rubbing or anything like that. So just with a very light hand, you're just gonna fan out the excess product. From MAC, and it's the MAC Studio Fix, and this one is in shade NC40. I'm gonna go with my puffer and I'm just going to swirl the product on my puffer right here, and I'm gonna go right underneath my eyes. What will this do is it will literally like make that area go absolutely flawless. Right, and to set my contour, I'm using first thing I'm using is the again MAC Studio Fix powder, and this is in shade number NC45. Okay, still don't like the brush. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for Morphe G36. And this looks like on my finer brush. So I'm just gonna take the powder, tap it on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna start setting on all the areas that I contoured. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use the same powder. I'm just gonna set my nose contour with the same one. Okay. Going to do the bottom lip. Okay. Take my puffer and go back over my eyes, underneath my eyes one more time. Okay. And that's the contour set. For my blush and kind of like a bronzer glow, I'm going to use this Global Glow from MAC Cosmetics. It's the Mineralize Skin Finish, and this is in shade Global Glow. I'm just going to take this on Morphe E4 brush, which is a really nice kind of like angled brush. I think these are one of the like very first ones I started using, and I'm going to go over the contour. See, kind of instantly gives you that warmth. Love using this powder like like an all over face kind of thing. It really gives you that really nice finish and a glow. This is one of my oldies but the goodies. This is the Milani Baked Blush, and this is in shade Luminous. So Luminous. I'm just gonna take a little bit on a brush. This brush is from Luxie. It's 512 small contouring brush, but really I'm not using it for contouring. And I'm just gonna apply this on the literally on the apple of my cheek. I just want this particular shade or blush to be more around this area of my face. So when I smile, I have this nice, like a pinkishy glow kind of thing. And if you do go a little bit heavy hand with your blush, never ever feel scared, because blush is one of the first thing which actually comes off more quickly on your in your makeup than any other thing. But if you do feel like you have gone a little overboard, then just use your foundation brush without any product, just whatever is there, and just go over everything, and it literally will calm down all of the jazz bands or whenever you feel like you've gone a little overboard. I am a lot into blushes right now, so I don't mind. Just gonna go with the same Global Glow finish powder all over my face. The one thing you will notice is there are a lot of powders in this routine, so I will tell you exactly what to do towards the end of the whole end of the makeup, so your face won't look really like you have too much powder going on. This is my Garnier Meteorites Pearls. It's kind of like illuminating powder, but what I like to do is I like to swirl my brush in the bowl, in the pearls. These are like these kind of pearls, and they are all different colors. And what I like to do is just brush out, and I like to just literally take the brush all over my skin. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to apply a little bit more of a mist. What will that do is it will hydrate, refresh, kind of like nourish my makeup, and it will make the whole powders like melt into my skin. So this is a technique you can do when you use a lot of powders. So I'm just gonna go with want to really damp your face at this point, because you just want all the powders to literally melt and go right into your skin and not just sit on top of your skin. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'll be back very shortly. I'm just gonna finish rest of my makeup off camera, and I'll show you how it looks at the end. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. So I know I went a lot into a lot into full in-depth detailed information about how I am doing my brightening, concealing and contour right now. I try to cover as much information as possible, finding the right products, figuring out the kind of face shape you're looking for, figuring out what is you actually trying to highlight, what you actually trying to more bring out in your face. It's extremely important sometimes. So as long as you can figure that out, you'll be so amazed how much you can change in your own face shape without like going through any kind of big, massive, expensive stuff. So this is what my makeup is looking like right now. I am so happy the way it turned out. Well, if you have any questions regarding any tips, like any techniques I used today, any products I used today, just leave them in a comment section below and I'm happy to answer all your questions. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying with the family. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for all your love and support, and I shall see you guys next time. Love you all. Take care. Bye.